are implementing programmatic projects that are supposed to be tapping from research, you have not attempted to follow the path, the critical path that a project should follow. A project should follow, if you talk about the SHIF, Social Health Insurance Fund, or you talk about the competence-based education, it needs to be piloted first.
Yes.
In a few places, so that if you're going to make mistakes,
you correct
fast before you then widen the scope. But you go out and offload a CBC one day. The guillotine comes down on 844 one morning across the entire Kenyan nation, and the flag rises up on CBC. If you look at SHIF basically did not begin with President William Ruto. It in fact began in President Uhuru's Big Four agenda.
Yes.
Health was one of them. It was piloted, I believe, in Kisumu, in Nyeri, in Mombasa, and in one more county, I believe it was Machakos. But the lessons that were taken from there were never processed.
Yeah, they were never.
There was no effort at all to address the questions that came up from that piloting. Unfortunately, President Uhuru had to pass on the baton to the next person who should have had the presence of mind to then say, let us look at the lessons that we have taken before we implement. And therefore, what scholars like ourselves do will spend lonely life in the shelves as the whims of the individuals who occupy high political office rule the nation.
And you touched on something when you are articulating on the guillotine, and you reminded me of the gentleman called Robespierre in the early France. And the man who invented the guillotine and ended up killed by his own guillotine. And also it brings me to the maverick leader, Charles de Gaulle, and how he was forced out of France. Are there any parallels with these historical figures in what is happening in Kenya today? And in literature has taught us many other things. Do we see a way out of all this?
All right, the example of Charles de Gaulle or Charles de Gaulle in France may not be very astute, although it is relevant. In 1968, I believe it was, France experienced protests of the Gen Z type that we have been experiencing in Kenya. Interestingly, they seem to have kept on recurring every 10 years. 1968, 1978, 1988, and so on. And you remember that Charles de Gaulle was the military hero of France during World War II, although he escaped from his country and commanded his armies from exile. He formed a government in exile because Adolf Hitler had invaded and occupied France. And he had even put in place a stooge regime in France. And Charles de Gaulle, at the end, or towards the end of the war, made a very bold step. He got back into his country and continued commanding now from the ground up to the time that we had the German surrender, the Japanese surrender, and the rest of that axis getting defeated. And he was hailed as a great man. But in the mid to the late 60s, the economic conditions across not just France, but the world were becoming extremely difficult. And the French people talk of le chômage. Le chômage, unemployment. There was huge unemployment. The cost of things went up. The French franc was in free fall.
Yeah.
And life was very difficult. And the young people, in their usual exercise of their youthful energies
and exuberance,
yes, they went out on the rampage.
Yes.
And de Gaulle had to run away for a few days, a few weeks even. Ironically, he ran to Germany, but he came back and carried on and finished his the tenure in office, and eventually died a respected statesman. I think France agrees that in modern times, Charles de Gaulle, General de Gaulle, the giant, is the greatest leader they have ever had. But I think we can get more astute parallels from elsewhere, where we had people like Ferdinand Marcos in the Philippines, who are self-worshippers, and their families worshipped them too. And there were concentric circles of worshippers around them. The following the taking out of Senator Benigno Aquino in 1986, the popular unrest in the country found its way into the streets of Manila and elsewhere in that country, and put together with other energies, especially the energies that emanated from the religious community, the efforts of Emmanuel Cardinal Sin and others. The Marcoses were forced to flee the country, and in no time, the widow of Benigno Aquino, Corazon Aquino, became the
premier,
the president, the reluctant housewife who became president.
Yes.
There are other examples we could talk about. We have seen in recent times in Sri Lanka, the prime minister being forced to flee. We saw that happen in Bangladesh. We have seen Nepal.
Yeah, we've seen that in Nepal as well.
Nepal in this past few days. We saw in Portugal in April 1975, eventually even the military refused to shoot. We saw in Romania, Nicolae Ceausescu in December 1989 with Ivona Ceausescu.
Yeah.
They got to a point where the police refused
to salute them even.
To salute them. They refused to shoot. The military ordered them to bring down their helicopter, or they would bring it down. We say these things as points of caution to those who are privileged to exercise sovereign state power, really for their own good. But most of the time, they don't listen. We saw what happened to Mobutu Sese Seko across here. We saw what happened to Masias Nguema in Equatorial Guinea. We saw what happened to Jean Bidel Bokassa
of Central
African Republic. But they don't listen, and William Ruto will tell you, stop teaching history in schools.
And if we are not teaching history, then let's teach literature.
I think history and literature are twins.
But they're tied at the hip.
Absolutely. They belong to... They are two seeds in the same kernel. Literature will usually paint on a social canvas.
Yes.
That derives from society itself. Sometimes they are works of fiction. Some other times they are works of faction, because it's essentially fact being rendered as a story. But the bottom line is that they are part and parcel of each other. You could even talk of science fiction, which I think is a literary precursor to innovation. Look at the things George Orwell was writing about in 1984. The closed circuit television had not happened.
Yeah, CCTV.
The CCTV, what he calls the telescreen,
yes,
in 1984 is what becomes CCTV in our own times. And when he tells you Big Brother is watching you,
yeah.
That time it seemed like a work of fiction. But now it's real. If you look at Jules Verne's 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea, he presages the submarine through literature.
Yeah.
Journey to the center of the earth.
Yeah.
Eventually, we now have railway lines that are running under the sea to materialize from the other side.
Yeah.
So H.G. Wells, if you talk about Aldous Huxley, I think that's a very interesting one. In his 1932 work of fiction, titled The Brave New World, he foresees the present times of artificial intelligence, of the digital revolution. And I invite everyone to go back and read Aldous Huxley, The Brave New World, because he predicts that the technology that we would evolve in the future, and it's coming just slightly less than 100 years to the publication of that novel, that the technology would overwhelm and overtake us, and we would get to a point where we cannot reverse it, and that technology would now run
the world. So I think, Barak, you've captured it very well, and I know you are a heavy reader of intelligent and intellectual books.
Clearly.
One book, an African writing series. If I give you 3 authors, I give you Chinua, I give you Wole Soyinka, and I give you Fela Kuti as a musician. Who would you pick? Who's a genius, who's a madman, and who's a wisecrack?
Charles, that's an extremely unfair question. It's like asking a parent, these are your children.
Yes.
Amongst
who is the favorite?
Amongst them, who's your favorite?
Who is your favorite? Each one of them is my favorite for different reasons.
Yes.
Even the naughty one.
Yes, they also remain my favorites for different reasons.
Yeah.
Soyinka is an intellectual giant. If you want to exercise the mind, if you want to do a bit of intellectual sparring, then you pick up Soyinka. But he's also telling us some very real things that we see. If you look at the road, for example, where there's an accident, and the first fellows who arrive at the scene go on to rob the victims.
Yes.
But they also happen to be people who know the victims very well. They are their friends and relatives. And as they are robbing, they are saying it is good that we are the ones who got here first of everyone. Imagine if enemies had gotten here. Now all these things would have gone to the enemy. Gone with the enemies. They are very real things.
Yes.
He's talking about real things that we see, the trials of Brother Jero.
Yeah, the trials of Brother Jero.
Brother Jero.
Yeah.
We are seeing the kind of preacher that Shrinker was talking about in the 1960s. Now that preacher is very real today.
Is in the city of Nairobi today.
A very profane individual masquerading under a cassock, under masks of piety, pretending to be very religious. And he issued another book last year, Chronicles from the Land of the Happiest People in the World. It's quite a tome, that one. But it's talking about the fellows that we are seeing around us every day. They mystify themselves. If I've talked about politicians who are self-worshippers, they are also preachers
who are even worse.
Worshippers and worse.
Yes.
And sometimes there is an intersection between the self-worshipping politician and the self-worshipping religious leader, and they have gullible sheeple. Sheeple.
Sheeple, not sheep.
Not
sheeple.
Yeah, you see, those characters in those shrines who go to listen to those people, you cannot quite say they are sheep because they have a human likeness. But they are also people. So we must call them sheeple. Yeah. So they have that sheeple that is following them, and sheeple also follows politicians. You will see sheeple saying, now we are in government, we are not going to
out of government,
we are not going to riot anymore. Money is sleeping in Homa Bay, so we will not go out
on Homa Bay.
So sheeple blitz blitz that way. You hear sheeple bleating, saying that money is now sleeping in Homa Bay, and we will not go out to riot anymore. Sheeple will say, if our father has said this,
it is correct.
It is correct.
Follow.
Our father,
we shall not question,
is always correct.
Yes.
We call them cows.
No, they are sheeple.
Human form.
Because they look like human beings. They don't look like sheep.
Yes.
But remember, sheeple, that's not my invention. In scholarship, we must accept that there are others who have come up with that notion, but we can expound on them, upon it. In Animal Farm, the other work that made Orwell very, very famous, you have the sheep that keeps bleating. Two forelegs good, two legs better, two legs bad, and eventually when they are told to say 4 legs good, 2 legs better, they migrate like that. These people who have been saying William Ruto is bad, 2 legs bad.
They're now saying,
and they were looking at themselves and Odinga as 4 legs, and they were saying 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. They are now saying 4 legs good, but 2 legs better.
And they've moved further to say now that
money is sleeping in Homa Bay. We are in government. That is sheeple. And this sheeple, there's another among them who says Comrade Napoleon is always right. if Comrade Napoleon has said this,
it is correct.
It is correct.
Yeah.
Who am I
To
question
Comrade
Napoleon? Now, that is part of the problem, and which reminds me of the third slogan that I had forgotten, 1984. It says, ignorance is strength. Ignorance is strength.
You know, that's very deep. Ignorance to them is bliss, in short.
Absolutely. And of course, ignorance is bliss. If you are sitting on a time bomb, regardless of whether you are sitting on the time bomb under your dining table,
yes,
under your car, in your bed, if you are lying in a bed and there's a time bomb underneath, you are in blissful space and peace until it explodes
on you.
And that's where the leadership, the thieving leadership in the third world especially, resides. If someone told you that your children and your children's children are going to be wanderers in exile for the rest of their lives, and that you're going to be buried in a lonely grave somewhere in Saudi Arabia,
like Idi Amin Dada. Amin was in Morocco.
Oh,
so much would change.
So, Barak, as we close, what should be done? If, imagine that gentleman Emmanuelia, who is hoping for this country to change and sitting by the river, what can he do to be part of this change?
So the country does not just change of its own volition, of its own energy. It's not like rain, which we keep coming out and looking at the sky.
Yes.
And wondering why there are no clouds. When will the clouds come so that it rains? We are not waiting for men and women from Mars. You have got to be the change
makers
that you want to see.
Absolutely.
Each one of us. You cannot keep waiting for other people. This is not a football match between Morocco and Madagascar that you have gone to watch for entertainment value. These are things that touch upon you. But we are behaving not just as if it's a football match between Morocco and Madagascar and hoping that Morocco beats Madagascar because we beat Madagascar and we beat Morocco and Madagascar beat us. So we are behaving as if it's a football match between Manchester United and Arsenal, who are just fellows out there who don't even know that we exist.
Yes.
Who, even when we jump in front of our TV sets, have no idea
who you are. No
that
idea
in
who
some
we are.
suffering country in Africa, there are some people who are jumping.
Yes.
We need to be committed, to be involved. We need to re-educate ourselves, to rededicate ourselves to what's right, what's good for the country. And the youth of this country have pointed out the direction. The direction indicates clearly that liberation will take each and every one of us getting their hands on the deck.
Very well put.
Well, and I really appreciate you, Dr. Barak Muluka, but you evaded one question.
I never evade anything.
The three guys, you didn't name, you said you cannot pick. So, Shoinka.
Shoinka I have talked about. Chinua Achebe is very rich in African narrative and in liberating the English idiom to contextualize it within African space and giving it a local flavor and authenticity that is a delight to read. And both Achebe and Shoinka are also very genuine in the portraits and profiles that they paint. You can see how adept they are at employing the local ordinary people's language.
Yeah.
When the conversation should be in pidgin, they will get the pidgin really right. It reminds me of Thomas Hardy, who is not Thomas Hardy of the fame of such literature as Tales of the Dubervilles, The Mayor of Casterbridge, Jude the Obscure, The Return of the Native, and such other great works, which if you haven't read, you are to be envied because of the great reading that awaits you.
Okay.
He can speak the language of the local people. You know, vile nikiingia mtaa Jerry,
Yes.
tunabonga sheng.
I know you're a man of Jerry.
Miro.
What a switch up, daktari.
Anasema sasa tena ni vihau. Yeah, but that's the language I grew up speaking.
I'm surprised. Pleasantly so.
Tukibonga sheng. Hapo Jerry. Mazee. Sini wanoma jo.
Hawa jamaa wa Jerry tunawajua.
Nimeamini vile amebonga.
Sini wa deadly.
And your thoughts on Fela?
Fela eventually now captures all this. You know, Fela went to the United Kingdom as a young man to study medicine.
Yeah.
He came from a
political family.
Let's say a very well-to-do modern quote-unquote family in Nigeria. Their people went to good schools, and incidentally they were first cousins with
Shoinka.
Wole Shoinka.
Yeah.
But when he got there, he changed his mind.
Yeah.
He studied literature with music. He became very good with the saxophone, which I play sometimes. Yeah, of course. And when he came back home, he invented what you call Afrobeat. And his Afrobeat, he used to tell stories. And they were stories of liberation, cultural liberation, political liberation, and the language that he uses throughout his songs is the language of the people. When he talks about zombie,
Teacher,
zombie,
don't teach me nonsense.
Don't teach me nonsense. Coffin for
head of state,
president, and
I love coffin for the head of state.
Yeah, and coffin for head of state, which we need to reflect about. Coffin for head of state.
That's not us. That's
them. It's not us.
Yeah, it's not us. It's
Fela.
Yes,
it's Fela Kuti.
Yeah. These people whom presidents caused to be killed.
Yeah.
They put the body in the coffin and take it to State House.
Yeah.
Mbia ndio hiyo ulitaka kuawa. Ndio. Zika, kula.
Do whatever.
Do vile
what you wanted, intended with it. Yeah. I think, Barak, you've given us an elevation of conversation, something very great. What is your parting shot? Tuende mtaa pale kwenyu Jerry, do you still go to the street? Da uko Jerry?
Ulitoka bana. Huko ni kwetu, hatuwezi kuomoka.
Mliomoka mkatoka mtaa.
Moke tunajaa wapi? Sini arifu wa mtaa.
Arifu mlitoka Jerry.
Usibring. My parting shot.
Yeah.
Well, be in Kiswahili na nitazungumza Kiswahili sanifu kwamba ukombozi sio lele mama.
Yes.
Bali ni kujitolea mhanga kwenye mstari wa mbele wa vita, na asiye na mwana elekee jiwe. Asante.
Na dumakuwili
hiyo sasa hizo usibring hapo.
Thank you, Barak. Thank you. So it was a pleasure having you.
Yes.
We shall do this again. Of course, Wamzi, you see the way Barak is
Absolutely.
deep.
I think we
discussed deep literature issues.
We need him on the drive
imagery.
show. Mara mingi sana.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Karibu sana.
Nitakam.
Utakam. Karibu sana. Welcome.
Asante sana.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.